Well, hey there, this is Jerry, and I was getting started on another episode of What's Broke Today. And today it's a older Craftsman. It's an LT 1000 riding mower. Let's look and see. This thing was built. Um, let's see, February 1st of 2002. That any of these old green Craftsman riding mowers, the serial number, and it even covers more of them. If a Craftsman tractor has a model number that starts out with a 917, then a dot, and then a 6-digit number or 7-digit, it was made by American Yard Products or Husqvarna. Um, the first six of the serial number is the month, the day, and the year it was built. So there are many years of this that have the same setup. And what we got is when you move the lever, it comes up here so far and it just stops. And this one in particular, when you raise the hood up and you look at the bottom of the lever, you'll see it has a cable coming up to it. Well, this one, since I move it up and it the cable is already pulled up, I hit the travel stop on the cable, or I guess it's the barrel on the end of it. So the cable's not moving. And on the other end of the cable, there's a spring where it attaches to the mower deck. And as a rule of thumb, when usually can tell if it's a cable that's bad, it does what this does. It just goes so far and stops. If the cable is good, when you pull that up, usually you feel the eat of that spring giving way. And then you usually want to go down to the mower deck and check that cam roller on the mower deck that the cable is attached to, because there's a piece on the deck with the idler pulley, and I'll show that later, and it has a bolt sticking up through that the cable is hooked to the top, and it pulls that toward the rear of the tractor, and as it does, that cam roller swings, tightens the belt, and then releases the blade brakes. But since this one doesn't, it's basically, the cable's stuck. We're going to have to put a cable on it. So I'm going to get around, I think, and get a jack and jack the front end up a little bit so I can drop the mower deck all the way down. And then let's swap out the cable to begin with. Okay, now getting ready to put this together. Luckily I already had on the shelf it's a 532-175-067 clutch cable kit. And this is an OEM kit. And I will tell you, they make aftermarket kits. You can order off of Amazon. You can order off of eBay. Tell you what I think of those. I know they're cheaper. They're not worth it. Buy an OEM cable. It does come with instructions. It does come with a new bolt to go up through the pulley. I don't always put this on because you don't always need it, because depending on when the mower is manufactured, it may already have this longer bolt on it. So to start out with, and luckily this one has no fuel in it, but take out the two bolts to hold the fuel tank. Take your air shield thing off. Then like this one, since there's no fuel in it, I can just take this tank and just lay it over to the side, and gets it out of the way, gives you all kinds of room in here. Now I'm going to come down in here and probably use my screwdriver, because that'll be the easiest to pop that deal off of the little hat on the lever. I bring the lever up here and hook it. And when I reach down through here on this one, they have been trying fiercely to get it engaged and have bent this bracket that the cable is coming up through. So I'm just using my screwdriver to push I'm pulling down on the cable and pushing these tabs in with the tip of my screwdriver through the slot here. Now I may have to get a hammer, but I'm going to have to bend that bracket back down somehow. Yeah, but we'll do that in a little bit. But now that I got the cable loose, you should always come in here and pay attention to where it's coming up through from the bottom, so you can stick it back up through the same spot. And there is a hole in the deck or in the frame that has a plastic isolator that's coming through. Then when we get down here underneath, put the camera up here, and here's that hairpin clip, and then we pull the spring off because it just hooks over the top. You see our washer, and then our zip tie. You know, we got these holes. There's 1, 2, 3. It's zip tied at the middle hole, and I laid my screwdriver down, of course, and then sat down. But you can either use wire cutters or your screwdriver and put it through the zip tie and just break it, like I did. Oh! Then get our new cable. And then back here, there's this other hairpin clip. You just pull it out, and then the cable will slide back and then out the slot, and get it over the brake cable or brake rod, and you're out of there. Then when you're going back together, this little plastic thing, the metal bracket is sandwiched in between the piece of plastic and where the hairpin clip goes. So you're going to put it up through the bracket, then slide this on, and then put the hairpin clip in. So I'm going to start out with fishing that over the brake rod through there, and then I'm going to turn it so the slot, move this over here closer, so the slot that's in plastic is in up, and push that on there, and then put this through the hole, which easier when you don't have a camera in the way. There's a hole in the bottom, and then just slide that on and over the top. And then we'll come up here and take the spring, set it on top of the washer. Then we'll take our other hairpin and put it through the hole. And what I usually do is just set this down here and compare the height and see that this already has I know this already has a tall bolt in it, so we're good there. Now I'm going to feel around and find that hole with the plastic grommet and just stick the cable up through it. And as soon as I get that done, I'm going to take my zip tie and zip tie the cable to the frame in the middle hole. And you can cut the tag end off the zip tie, or you can leave it. I don't know if it really matters. Okay. And I make this look easy, but I have probably changed 100 of these things over the years. Like I say, I think they've been using this design since 2000. Now I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna take a adjustable wrench and see if I can get it in there and on that bracket and bend it back down. If you don't bend it back, if it's bent up like this one is, you won't get the proper tension on the cable when you pull it and engage the blades. It won't pull all the way. Now that I got the cable coming up through here, I'm gonna and pay attention to how it's routed, because like this one came up through, and I just stuck it up through. I got it on the wrong side of the shaft where it lifts the blades, so I got to pull it on that side. Then it goes behind the wires going to the switch. Now I'm just going to drop this lever down and hook that piece onto the lever, and then pull on the cable and engage it onto the lever first. I don't know if it makes a big deal, but it seems to me like it's easier to hook it first than it is to hook it later. And then there's a slot in that bracket, and then you can slide the cable over, put the cable in the slot, line it up with the opening, and I just pull the lever up to pull the cable up into the bracket, and then I can engage that and come down here and see that, and I'll activate that while you're watching. Now I zoomed out to give us a wider field of vision, because with the blade engaged or the lever up, the belt is tight. Now I let off of it, the spring that's missing, supposed to pull that back forward. There's a spring that's supposed to go between, there's a hole here in the roller and a hole in the deck. I just noticed that spring's gone. I will have to go to the house and see if I got one of those. But if the mower's running, it'll usually kick that out anyway. That just holds it forward so there isn't no tension on the belt while you're driving. So the only thing I've really got to worry about is the fact that how much did they run the motor with partial tension on the belt, and hope it didn't smoke the belt. And pull it off, and it doesn't look bad, so we're going to call that good. I'm going to go look for one of them springs, and then I'll show you me putting it on. Then I'll just come back up here and take my fuel tank and drop it back down in its hole. It's really got too much hose on that fuel tank. I don't know why they put so much hose. I'll put that back down in its spot and set this back up there. And get that one started. Here, get the other one started. Like so. And I just go gentle, because these are just screwing into sheet metal. And yeah, let me go get the see if I've got one of them springs, and I'll come back and we'll put that spring on. Okay, well I got my spring, And it's real simple to install. There's a hole in the top of that cam roller bracket and a hole in the deck. Just got to hook that in each hole. The worst thing is sometimes you run over stuff at the deck and the blades will hit something and then it'll flip up and knock that spring out. But what I'll do is engage and disengage it a couple times and make sure everything moves like it should. I got to get a battery in it, get it fired up, and I think we'll be ready to roll. Well, I got our Craftsman riding mower all ready to go. Of course, got our new cable on with that return spring, and it works good. The other thing I had to get was a battery because when it got here, the battery was dead, and I tried to charge it. And when I put on the charger, it wasn't. It's a couple of minutes. The battery started, I don't know, putting off an obnoxious odor. So I unplugged the charger, took that battery, and put it outside. The other thing is I guess when he was trying to mow with it and it didn't engage, when he shut it off, someone has installed over here on the fuel line an inline shutoff valve, and they did that because if this thing sits, the needle valve in the carburetor doesn't completely shut the fuel off. Carburetor overflows, fills up the crankcase with gasoline. So when I went to start it, the cylinder was full of gas and so was the engine oil. So I had to pull the spark plug, um, crank it over a few times and blow all the gas out and let it dry. Change the engine oil. Of course, I went ahead and put in a new spark plug. Um, you could replace the carburetor or maybe try and rebuild it. I'd say pull it apart and look at the needle valve and seat. You might be able to get by with just replacing the needle valve. But since they already had that shut off, we'll just leave that where it is. I did put a new fuel filter on it, but got it starting, running, mowing, blades engage and disengage. So we're going to call that good. Hey, I do appreciate you watching. Anybody out there that's not a subscriber, better join on in because I'll tell them what else you're going to see on What's Broke Today. Thank you.